Welcome back to Street Switch Photography. Apparently we're now all packy bashers. Let's do this.
Street Switch Photography.
And welcome back to another episode of Street Switch Photography. Yes, this was, what's her name? Mahood, or whatever her name is. This was at the Labour conference in Liverpool the other day. Let's take a listen to what it is she's got to say. It's actually quite shocking.
Thank you, conference. It is an honour to address you for the first time as a Labour Home Secretary. If I am honest, it is an honour I never expected. And it is one that would have been unthinkable to my parents when they first arrived here.
It's unthinkable to most of the sodding nation, Miss Mahood.
In the 1970s.
Shabina Mahood.
But if this is a story of progress, it is a contested one. And I was reminded of that fact just days into this job. On the 13th of September,
150,000 people took to the streets of London. Only 150,000. It was more like 2 million. So there's the first lie straight from the horse's mouth.
People marched through London.
Yes, they did, because they're pissed off with Labour and with this government.
They did so under the banner of a convicted criminal and a former BNP member.
So let's talk about convicted criminals. A convicted criminal can be somebody that made a mistake in the past and they've come out of prison and they're still being ridiculed for that crime. So what was it that Tommy Robinson was being convicted of? What was it he was actually arrested for? He made a mistake. They say people can't change the colours. Well, Tommy certainly has, and he's won the hearts of the nation. Nobody else could have got 2 million people to take to the streets of London in protest against this government. And this government are now shatting themselves.
While not everyone was violent, some...
In fact, most of them wasn't violent. 8 people arrested from what you like to call, Miss Mahood, the far right. So before you open your trap, let's see what you've got to say, because I guarantee the next part will be complete bullshit.
26 police officers were injured as they tried to keep the peace.
So 26 police officers were injured by 8 far-right activists. And they say it was 20 odd that were arrested. Where did the other lot come from then? Would it have been the far left by any chance? Would it have been Palestine Action? The ones you yourselves prescribed a terrorist organisation? The Palestine, the place you've just recognised as an actual state?
And while not
terrorist supporters now is what Labour actually are.
Everyone chanted racist slogans, some did. Clear that in their view of this country, I have no place.
The reason that people like this like to think that they have no place in this country and that this massive load of people are still racist and everything else is because they've got absolutely nothing else to actually go on. If they were to... they're full of shit. That's the truth. Now, Miss Mahood is a well-known activist herself. She is a well-known supporter of Palestine. She would have Sharia law in Great Britain at the drop of a hat.
It would be easy to dismiss this as nothing but an angry minority.
She is a far left, not just left-leaning, a far left idiot.
Heirs to the skinheads and the packy bashers of old.
There you go. There you go. The skinheads and the bashers of old. She's just called everybody that turned up to the Tommy Robinson event in London, near on 2 million people, skinheads and bashers. I won't say the word because I won't lower myself to this silly cow's level. That is disgusting. Now, I think she's going to mention the ID as well.
And make no mistake, some were. But
no one denied that there may have been a couple of far-right individuals there compared to the Palestine Action, Antifa and Stop Racism that are funded by governments that are far-left extreme groups, which had way more arrests than of the 2 million people that were marching the streets with the British flags. You have not got a fucking leg to stand on. You are full of shit.
to dismiss what happened that day would be to ignore something bigger, something broader that...
Like the people that were arrested from the far left, you mean? Because we've got a two-tier system, a two-tier judiciary, two-tier policing.
is happening
and you don't think that they're going to not use this ID bullshit for two-tier?
Across this country. The story of who we are is contested.
We are Britain. This is England. It isn't contested at all. We know who we are. Do not fucking tell us who we are.
Live a charmed life in Warwickshire by entering our £2.5 million historic dream home draw.
I am a patriot, proudly so.
Yes, what you've done there, you see, is redesigned what patriotism means to yourself and not to the rest of Great Britain. Okay? That is exactly what you have done. Because you live in a fantasy world. I dare you, walk the streets of London and see what happens. You can't. It's as simple as that, because the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, Miss Mahood are probably some of the most hated people in this country at this particular time. Ever. To walk the streets of London.
Mine is the patriotism of Orwell. Pride in a country that is forever changing, while also ineffably always the same. It is a love of this country as an open, tolerant, generous place.
We can only take tolerance to a certain level when you are putting families' children at risk. And now I dare you to say they're not. Case after case after case, from hotel after hotel after hotel. You cannot lie anymore. The cat is out of the bag.
But that broad vision of who we are is increasingly disputed.
Now let's try and find where socialism, Marxism, or any of those have actually worked and how they've ended up in other countries. We will not have this.
Patriotism, a force for good, is turning into something smaller, something more like ethno-nationalism.
If you're wondering what ethno-nationalism means, ethno, the first word in that means, you know, like where you're from. So your ethnicity, for instance. Nationalism. Nationalism isn't a particularly bad thing because people will work hard to get what they have got.
Which struggles to accept that someone who looks like me and has a faith like mine can truly be English or British.
Right. Being English, or British as she describes it, English is an Englishman that was born in this country, typically a white male or female. Does this lady look like a white male or female to you? God knows with the Labour Party. I don't know what she's hiding under that desk.
There are some.
That's what British. English is English. British, anybody can be British, but not everybody can be English.
Who we will never...
The same as I can't become a Pakistani or a Chinese or a black man, for instance.
...ever be able to persuade. But there are others, a growing number, who are on a path from patriotism towards ethno-nationalism.
That's another
and this
made-up
can
name,
be stopped.
the same as Islamophobia.
But to do so, we have to understand...
Ethno-nationalism, another word adopted by Labour to use as they like because they're running out of other words like racist, Nazi and all the other words that they try and use to bring us down.
...understand why so many people feel this country is not working for them. Because the truth is...
Because they entered the country illegally, They went into a hotel illegally, they worked illegally, and they committed sins against our children illegally, and you let them off with it. That's why people are pissed off, Miss Mahood.
Across this country, people feel like things are spinning out of control. And without control, we simply do not have
Correct.
the conditions in which our country can be open, tolerant, and generous.
We don't want to be open. We don't want open borders. We don't want every single criminal from Pakistan and from whatever other countries they come from. We don't want them. We do not want them. Go home.
When people see small boats arriving,
What I mean by that is if you are an illegal immigrant that has entered this country for absolutely no reason other than to do wrong things to people, turn round and go home. You are not welcome. If you've come across with a passport, you were fleeing war or persecution from another country, you're welcome. You're more than welcome.
on our shores, they see a country that has lost control. When they hear of widespread illegal working, undercutting British workers, they feel the system
So how are we gonna solve this then, Miss Mahood?
is rigged. And when they see crime unchecked on unsafe streets, they feel
Because you've made the streets unsafe by bringing in hundreds of thousands of criminals? Along with the previous government as well, but you've just sort of put it on steroids? I mean, to stand there and talk this absolute vile verbal diarrhea, to call everybody that was at that event a pea basher, a skinhead pea basher.
fearful. This was the inheritance that the Conservatives left behind for us. And their current irrelevance is the price that they have paid.
You wait till the next election, you're in for a fucking shock.
So it now falls to us to rise to this challenge. If we do not, our vision of an open, tolerant and generous country will wither. And where we fail, others will succeed.
A tolerant and generous country that takes the winter fuel allowance from its elderly, that lets its veterans sleep on the streets while illegal migrants stay in 4-star hotels. Yeah, exactly. Great stuff, Miss Mahood.
Working class communities will turn away from us. The party
You think they haven't already turned away from you? This is what I mean by they are totally and utterly out of touch. They have not got a clue what is going on in Great Britain right now. There's flags going up everywhere. There's people marching the streets in protests because they're worried about their families being attacked by people that enter schools that aren't supposed to be in there. Then she turns around and calls everybody that attended that march on the 13th of September a pea basher. They call us racists. They say that Reform's policy is racist. They don't know any other word or any other rhetoric. They do not know how to fight this. They are on the edge of the precipice that is going to take them down. And they know it. Because none of these slurs will work.
party that for over 100 years has been their party and seeks solace in the false promises of Farage. They will turn towards something smaller, something narrower, something less welcoming. And the division within this country will grow.
Like your mind.
So the challenge we now face is this: not just to win the next election,
Yeah, right.
but to keep the country together and to fight for our belief in a greater Britain, not a littler England.
You mean a Marxist Britain? You mean a communist Britain? You mean a China? Is that what you mean? Because that's what everybody thinks, and rightfully so. Oh, here's David Lemmy that thinks white smoke is racist. This guy thinks white smoke is racist. Exactly. These are the people we've got in control of this country.
Say goodbye to your reading glasses, computer glasses, and even your sunglasses. Introducing the last pair of glasses.
Look at all the blank robotic faces.
That work begins at our borders.
And again, they haven't shown you the protest that was outside.
We must restore order and control. We will always...
You're the one that's made the disorder. And the way they're going to reinstall that order is via digital ID.
...remain a country that gives refuge to those who are fleeing peril. But we can only be open to the world if we are able to determine who comes in and who must leave. And it is clear...
So that means then you've got to stop the boats because we don't know who these people are. Well, first question is, these people come into this country. You ask this question to a lefty. If these people come over on these boats illegally, should they have NHS treatment? The lefty will turn around and say, yes. And then you turn around and you say to them, well, do you think they should get benefits? Do you think they should be put in a hotel? I said, yes. And then you say, well, do you think they should receive benefits? They say, yes. And you turn around and say, well, they can't because they haven't got any ID. They chucked it in the water on the way over. They haven't got any ID. That's it. End of. The debate is over.
There is more work to be done. On my second day as Home Secretary, over 1,000 people arrived by small boat. But the deal with the French, agreed by my predecessor Yvette Cooper, marked a historic...
We'll send one back for every 1,000 we receive.
...step forward. Yvette, we all owe you our thanks.
No, we don't. No, we don't. I don't know why Howard Ball sleeps at night with knowing that's in the house.
The first returns, small in number though growing, send a message.
Small in number.
To those profiting...
It was one. Small in number. One. They put on a whole plane for one person and they think that's a success.
From the trade in human beings, we will break your business model and we...
Who's this? So we've just received a message from Deadpool himself. Yeah, came in over the weekend, 120 on board. A mega dinghy, it was called. Mega dinghy came over with 120 on board. We sent one back though, mate, so it's all right. We sent one back. So, you know, that equals up the numbers, doesn't it?
We will ensure that your crimes do not pay. And to those considering a perilous small boat journey, the risk is not worth it. And
if that's all you've got to say about it, they're breaking into the country illegally and all you say is, it's not worth it. They think they're going to get a free hotel, free 3 meals a day, free lifelong benefits and everything else, and it's not worth it. And they're all men.
And your only route into this country should be a safe and legal one. The British...
I agree with her there.
British public will accept those fleeing peril, but they will not do so if there is chaos at our border. Today, the boats continue to arrive, and so I will do whatever it takes to secure our borders.
Like leaving the ECHR because that is the only proven way that you can secure these borders. Are you going to do that, Miss Mahoo? No, you frickin' well ain't, are you? Because you would be bringing them in the lorry loads if you had it your way. That's a fact. Let's see what she says about that.
Cracking down on the criminal gangs behind the trade.
Yeah, let's crack down on the criminals. Smash the gangs. Smash the gang. How's that working out?
Discouraging those who are considering a small boat crossing.
It won't discourage them.
sending those home who have no right to be here.
One.
And ending the use of hotels, that totem of...
So yeah, you're just going to move them into all these new houses that you've built. Prioritising illegal migrants over single mothers and veterans and homeless people on the streets of Great Britain that were actually born in this country and actually belong here.
Of the Tory legacy.
Because you are a racist, woman. You are a racist, and that is fact.
That has done so much.
How's it feel? The only difference between her calling any of us racist and us calling her a racist is when we say it, it's actually true and we can fucking explain it. We are classed as second-class citizens by this woman. She's a racist. Oh, and she's a communist and a Nazi as well.
To divide our communities. In solving this crisis, you may not always like what
you ain't solving shit. You couldn't solve a Rubik's Cube.
I do.
Neither can I.
We will have to question some of the assumptions and legal constraints that have lasted for a generation and more. But unless we have control of our borders, and until we...
I'm just waiting for the bit where she comes out with the digital ID will sort this out.
We can decide who comes in and who must leave. We will never be the open, tolerant and generous country that I know we all believe in.
This men's belt by Zitali clicks in place on the backside and locks in. It's got a hidden
I'm reading some of the comments. I'll read some of the comments at the end of this video, guys. All right.
While small boats are the most visible sign of a loss of control, they are not the only one. This country has always welcomed migrants, like my parents, who came...
Yeah, we have welcomed migrants. We had the Windrush generation, we had the Ukrainian scheme, we've had the Afghan scheme. Yes, we do welcome migrants. Ones that have entered the country with a passport, ones that are actually fleeing persecution, ones that would, if you sent them back to their country, would die. They're the ones that we've let into this country, and they're the ones that want to assimilate with white British people. And we've got no problem with them. It's the ones that are coming over and doing naughty things.
Came here in pursuit of a better life, who worked hard, contributed to this country, and in time became a part of it.
Now, is this a case of let's tell them what they want to hear and then just add in the digital ID towards the end?
But in recent years, under the last Conservative government, the scale and the speed of change, as well as the nature of it, has frayed trust and eroded public confidence. Between 2021 and 2024, we saw over 2.6 million more people enter this country than leave it. And this included widespread abuse of Boris Johnson's health and social care visa, which saw 710,000 people arrive here. Far too many have been able to enter this country and disappear into the black economy. A rank betrayal.
And you think by getting ID, digital ID, they're all going to come crawling out of the woodwork and these criminals are going to go, oh no, I'm not going to employ that person now because he's got digital ID.
Betrayal of the Tories' old promise that they would take back control. If we are to preserve our openness to migrants like...
We don't want to preserve our openness. We do not want to preserve our openness. She looks like she's having a crap there, look. Okay.
Like my parents, then we need a system that is fair to those who are already here.
And fair to us white British people that are native to this country, Miss Mahood.
That means cracking down on illegal working that undercuts British workers. It means ensuring hiring practices are fair, forcing companies to fund training.
Wait for it, because we know for a fact that these people that are employing the illegal workers, yeah, they're going to be all for this. And they're going to be really fair about it.
for homegrown workers if they are hiring from abroad. Crucially, it also means setting rules that ensure contribution to this country is a condition of living here. Because I know that the British people welcome those who come here and contribute, but contribution is a condition of that welcome. For that reason, we will soon increase the time in which someone must have lived in this country to earn indefinite leave to remain from 5 years to 10. And we will be consulting on this change soon, and as part of that consultation, I will be proposing a series of new tests, such as being in work, making national insurance contributions, not taking a penny in benefits, learning English to a high standard.
And you're going to do this all through the Digital ID app. Let me guess. I'm just guessing at the moment.
Having no criminal record. And finally, that you have truly given back to your community, such as by volunteering your time to a local cause.
It makes me wonder whether this was by design. Try and get as many people in Great Britain as you can. Number one, because it will swing the vote your way. Number two, it will give them a reason to actually push out this digital ID. They create the problem and then they all of a sudden come up with a solution for the problem. That's how it seems. Is this all by design? Was COVID a test?
Without meeting these conditions, I do not believe your ability to stay in this country should be automatic.
Believe me, if you bring out this digital ID, there's not going to be many people left in this country because everybody will want to leave.
Some will be able to earn an earlier settlement than 10 years based on their contribution.
Yeah, with special treatment.
While others work hard and who give back. I know this country will welcome you. Order at our borders, a fair migration where a nation is fearful, stronger communities. And that's why we must focus policing on the issues that matter, like knife crime, which tears so many lives.
Which has been at its highest in Manchester, London, Birmingham, Leeds, the highest records ever.
Lives apart, and the scourge of violence against women and girls. In some areas, we are making real progress in many communities across our country. Feel like things are getting better, where crimes like shoplifting and antisocial behaviour without that we focus on neighbourhood policing. With 3,006, we must reform policing to enforce and to rebuild confidence in our forces. This year, forces across the country led a summer of action tackling street-level crime in 600 locations. This saw more visible police patrols, This year, we will launch a new winter of action. Forces across the country, in partnership with local businesses, will target shoplifters and antisocial behaviour during the busiest weeks.
What's your definition of antisocial behaviour, though? Somebody standing there with the British flag waving it around saying, I love Britain. That's their definition of antisocial behaviour. Somebody putting a tweet on that's offensive to somebody else, that's their definition of antisocial behaviour. Not somebody that's, been sexually abused, a young school child or something like that. That isn't antisocial at all, no. That's normal under Sharia law. What's good enough for Mohammed would be good enough for them. But no, that wouldn't be classed as antisocial at all.
For all retailers. I am a rare Home Secretary, perhaps the only one whose first job was behind the till in my parents' corner shop. I know.
Get in on the action at Unibet. You'll get a £40 casino bonus when you deposit and play just £10. Spin top slots like
ID.
I know what it feels to bring communities together. While that starts at our streets, tolerant, generous country that we want to be.
She just about said to bring communities together. Okay, let's talk about that then, shall we? We wanted to bring communities together, And then these other communities, no religion or race mentioned, did not want anything to do with us. They just wanted to take over and destroy. Fact.
While that starts at our streets, I will, as a Labour Home Secretary, always put the security of this nation. I pay tribute to those whose work keeps us safe, but whose succeeding terror attacks of 9/11 in this country, in the wake of the devastating terror attacks of 9/11.
Which your religion did. Yeah? Also Lee Rigby. Also the Manchester bombing. Also the London Bridge attacks.
And 7/7. I know that we are a stronger and more united country.
Only can you see why people are so annoyed? Because they do not listen, and then they just come out with bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. I'm going to leave the video there and read some of the comments. We had Deadpool basically saying dental health care and bikes and phones and stuff being given to them. Yes, 100% agree. They believe in democracy. No, they don't. Smash the gangs, I think he meant. She is English, you know. I don't care what she is. She's a twat. I know that much. Even using the Bupa healthcare, yeah. Good point there. Like you're thinking there. 66 arrests before the conference even started, before Palestine. Yeah, exactly. It was Palestine action from the far left. There was Palestine action there, sat down outside. The police did not arrest them. They did not arrest a prescribed terrorist organisation supporters. They did not arrest them. But what they did arrest was somebody with an English flag. Two-tier policing in Liverpool. In London, in Manchester, in every town, in every city across Great Britain. When a migrant was waving a what at somebody, but got away with it. Great policing. I don't understand it because you've dotted out some words, and that was Sean McConnell. But anyway, yeah, so most of these comments I actually agree with. This has been Street Switch Photography. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Go and hit the notification bell, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Good evening and good night for now.
Street Switch Photography.